Lesson 1-9 Inequalities, boys and girls. In this lesson, we learn to write and solve inequalities. Let's take a look at your health. Okay. Insomnia. Okay. Very common problem to some adults. The inability to get enough sleep affects millions of Americans each year. Researchers have come up with some suggestions to avoid insomnia. Maintain a temperature of 68 to 75 degrees in your bedroom. Anything below that, anything above that would not be conducive to sleeping. Stop eating at least 2 hours before bedtime because that'll keep your digestive system working enough to keep you awake. Avoid reading or watching television in bed. Well, I don't really believe this because I don't follow that. Okay, and go to bed and get up at the same times each day, even when you can sleep in. So those are ways to avoid insomnia. Okay, those are the scientific findings in trying to avoid insomnia. Okay, now what does it have to do with what we need to learn? Let's find out. So in this case, we let the variable T represent the bedroom temperature. Okay, we can write a mathematical sentence to describe the temperature that physicians recommend, which is between 68 degrees and 75 degrees. We say that if we let T represent the bedroom temperature, then T is less than 75. We write this as T less than 75 as an inequality. Okay? And then if we represent T again as our bedroom temperature, we can say that T is greater than 68 because it's between 68, so it should be greater than 68 and it should be less than 75. We write that T is greater than 68. And a mathematical sentence that contains a less than or greater than symbol is called an inequality. Okay? Inequalities like equations, okay, can be true, open, or false. Okay? So just like an equation, it can be true, open, or false. Okay? This sentence is true because 18 is always greater than 13. This sentence is false because 9 is never less than 5. And this sentence is open because we don't know the value of t. Okay, it is neither true or false until t is replaced with a number. Okay, some other inequalities that contain less than or equal to or greater than or equal to symbols. They are the combinations of equal sign and the inequality symbols. Okay, so in those types of inequalities, we say that n is less than or equal to 4, but we write it this way. N is less than or equal to 4. And we can also say that m is greater than or equal to 8, and we write it as m greater than or equal to 8. And that's how you read those inequalities. Okay? Move on. Example number 1. For a given value, state whether each inequality is true or false. Again, we only substitute 12 to r and see if it's true or false. If we substitute 12 to r, this is what we get. 12 minus 7 is greater than 7. And we know that 4 is not greater than 7. This is obviously false. This sentence is false. Letter B. We have 14 is less than or equal to 3s over 2 plus 5. If we substitute the value of s, which is 10, okay, we get this 14 less than or equal to 3 times 10 divided by 2 plus 5. Following the order of operations, we'll multiply 3 times 10 first. Okay, so you now have 14 less than or equal to 30 divided by 2, which is 15. Plus 5 will give you 20. And 14 is less than or equal to 20. And if you notice, this is a true sentence. Therefore, the sentence is true. Okay? Many situations in real life can be described using inequalities. The table below shows some common phrases and corresponding inequalities. For the inequality less than, of course it's less than, and fewer than. Those are two phrases that you can use. For the inequality greater than, more than, and exceeds are phrases that can be used. For less than or equal to, no more than, and at most. These two phrases can be confusing, so remember these two. No more than means less than or equal to. At most also refers to less than or equal to. And finally, greater than or equal to phrases can be no less than or at least. Okay, so these four phrases are the ones that will be coming up and will be very confusing if you are not careful. Okay, things to remember. Let's take a look at example number 2. A dozen eggs must weigh at least 30 ounces to be labeled jumbo by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. A dozen eggs that weigh less than 18 ounces are not supposed to be sold to consumers. Write an inequality for the weight of a dozen jumbo eggs. So it says a dozen jumbo eggs is at least. Okay. So the word at least means greater than or equal to. So this is simply, okay, J is greater than or equal to 30 because at least implies a greater than or equal relationship. So that's your inequality. In letter B, if the eggs that weigh less than 18 ounces per dozen are not sold, that U represent the weight of unsold eggs. Again, U is being defined as the weight of unsold eggs, then U is less than 18. Okay, pretty simple, straightforward, and we are done with our lesson. Google Forms type a summary of what you've learned, responding to the objective, type of question you might want to ask in class. Thank you.